Good morning, everybody. Welcome. We gather here for lots of reasons. Every Sunday, every one of us comes with many different reasons. All this last week, many of you have communicated with me or with Ann or with each other. Members of our community from many different backgrounds, many different perspectives have communicated with us, with each other. People have written letters of support to one another because of the horrendous effects on our fellow humans' lives that we are seeing unfold every day in Israel and Palestine. For a conflict to be so far away, it's remarkable how close to home many of us feel it. We feel its importance. We have folks in our congregation and beloved family members and friends who are Jewish. We have folks in our congregation, close family and friends, who are Palestinian. We have a Palestinian community here in Spartanburg. We have members of our congregation who have lived in Gaza and the West Bank. And we feel how those people are caught together in the vice of history, and the pressure that they are under, whatever each of us thinks of it, ripples out to the whole world. So I'm going to begin today mindful of them and of every person in danger in our world. Some conflicts are everywhere in the news, and others we never see or hear. Folks here today who are in danger, and we don't even know it. We gather to build a community of support for our shared humanity, to make this world livable for every person. Share a moment of silence with me for every one of our fellow human beings. In matters that we gather, it matters.
Come into this place of My name is Gail Stevenson, and I'm to serve as the treasurer on the Board of Trustees for the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spartanburg. I am delighted to welcome you all here this morning, whether you are here at UUCS or virtually. This is a welcoming congregation where everyone is welcome just as we each are. If you are visiting with us this morning, we would love to meet you to share more about the life of this congregation. Visitors' cards may be found in the pocket in the back of the chair in front of you. Please feel free to fill out one and place it in the offering plate during the service so we can connect with you. There are many important announcements in the sheets titled Connect at the back of your bulletin this morning. Please open your bulletin to see all that you can be a part of. Sign up to help with Pride on Saturday, October 28th. We need people to help with baking cookies before the event, hosting our booth during the event, and we want everyone to join us in the march at noon on October 28th. See the happenings for a link to sign up. Are you considering joining the congregation at UUCS? The Path to Membership class is a place to learn more about Unitarian Universalism and our congregation. The next Path to Membership class will be held Sunday, November 5th, 2023, starting at 12:30 p.m. The class will be held in Wild Hall, which is down below us. Lunch will be served and childcare will be available. A sign-up sheet is on the whiteboard in the foyer just outside the sanctuary. And our annual auction is coming up on November 11th. It's going to be fun. If you haven't been to one, you really should come. It's a lot of fun. Click in the happenings to submit items you would like to share and plan now to come. Something that's not in your Connect, Proud Mary has been doing a production, was supposed to be doing a production this weekend. They've had somebody that was ill, so they've canceled production for today, and it won't be again until next Thursday coming this next week. Thank you for making this a place of kindness for every one of us. Thank you for making this a place of joy.
As we light our chalice this morning, we'll have a reading from the book of Job. If I have walked with falsehood and my foot has hurried to deceit, let me be weighed in a just balance and let God know my integrity. If I have withheld anything that the poor desired, or have caused the eyes of the widow to fail, or have eaten my morsel alone, and the orphan has not eaten from it. If I have seen anyone perish for lack of clothing, or a poor person without covering, if I have raised my hand against the orphan, if I have made gold my trust, or called fine gold my confidence, this would also be an iniquity to be punished by the judges, for I should have been false to God above. Oh, that I had one to hear me. Here is my signature. Let the Almighty answer me. Oh, that I had the indictment written by my adversary. Surely I would carry it on my shoulder. I would bind it on me like a crown. I would give him an account of all my steps. Like a prince, I would approach him. The words of Job are ended. we have, every event of our lives sends ripples out into the world. To represent how we share these moments as a community, we have chosen to use the ritual of our Rippling Bowl. Should you wish to make a promise or let go of one, remember someone you've lost, or honor the reassuring presence of a loved one, release a bit of pain, offer a blessing for a stranger, or otherwise mark some important event or occasion, please step forward and send your thoughts outward as you drop a stone or a shell into the water, mingling the ripples of your intention with the ripples of other people in our community. Those ripples remind us that joys once shared ripple out and are multiplied, and sorrows shared ripple out and are diminished. Come forward now if you wish and place a stone or shell in the water, and I will place one of each for those who are joining us virtually.
Find a stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony. Seek the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, watch me flower, carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
We are a community of many faiths and beliefs. We're united not by dogma, but by rather a desire to work together to make our world a better place. As part of that choice we've written a congregational covenant that helps to remind us how we want to be together in order to accomplish our mission. Please join me in speaking aloud the power of our covenant. We are a people of faith and hope. Together we covenant to strive to become our better selves, to honor both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to respond to systems of violence and oppression with the power of a love beyond belief. Thank you. Sorry, I'm checking my step count. I was a little low, so I thought I would make a run back down there and back up to get myself back on track. Now is the time when we greet each other. Please stand and greet each other. Try to match your greeting to everyone else and respect everyone's wishes for personal space. And when the music starts, please go back to your seats so that we can move on to the next part. Let's go. We each contribute to this community with a multitude of gifts. Gifts of time, talent, energy, perspectives, and love. And the generation of this congregation is immense. Now we contribute as we can with financial gifts. This month, we share half of unmarked funds and all marked funds from our offering plate with Midwives for Haiti. Today, even if you're not putting anything in the plate as it comes by, please take it with both hands and know that as you pass it, that your presence here today is a gift that we all treasure.
Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning soul. Oh, where are our dear fathers? Oh, where are our dear fathers? They are in the valley praying. Day is breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear mothers? Oh, where are our dear mothers? They are gone to heaven a-shouting. Day is breaking in my soul. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Day is breaking in my soul.
Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind. Who is this that darkens counsel by words without knowledge? I will question you, and you shall declare to me. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? On what were its bases sunk? Or who laid its cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together and all the heavenly beings shouted for joy.
It is not our usual to work so closely week after week with a story from Hebrew and Christian scripture. This is a multi-religious movement, and we intentionally gather the views that all of us bring, not just formal philosophies and religious traditions from the world, but the perspectives and the background, the things that are meaningful to each of us. We bring into the room, we bring into conversation with each other. With particular awareness that we live in a society here dominated by certain forms of Christianity, and trying to create a balance with that. Our small congregation trying to find a rebalancing and harmony with a vast world. So we can blame it all on Mary Underwood, who asked that I speak with you about the book of Job, a book that tells the story of a man experiencing unjust suffering. It's too awful to call it coincidence, but it is notable, let's say, without adding any other layer of meaning to it. This is a story embedded in Hebrew national literature about a man whose name is not Hebrew, and whose friends come to him from lands neighboring the Israelite community. And this man, at the center of this story, is the focus of attention because he is deemed righteous. This is a good man afflicted with suffering he doesn't deserve. And the book screams out, why? Share silence with me. In the clean, sterile halls of a hospital, a woman received devastating news about a person so close to her, he was in her heart. And for all of the learning and the training and the layers of care and the gurneys and the carts with implements of measurement and monitoring and the pharmacies, the entire apparatus of a medical system surrounding her and tending to this person in her heart for whom she most cared. For all of that system of help, the catastrophic happened. And none of those instruments and tools could touch what had to be touched to save the life of that man. And this woman receiving this news collapsed on the floor. Attendants and nurses walking around her to go on to their own patients and the situations that they needed to hurry to care for. The intercom system calling people to other rooms and other wings. Nobody knew what to do. All that could be done was done. And it hadn't worked. And the chaplain walked down the hall to where this woman was crumpled on the floor in sobs and sat down beside her on the floor and cried with her. Suffering is real. And when we experience suffering, we look for ways to relieve it. And we should. I want that whole apparatus of medical care. And as broken as our system of insurance is, and as easy as it is for me to imagine a very good national remedy for that. Still, I want for that apparatus to exist, so that when I or my father or my wife in labor or whatever the situation is, when one of the people that I love needs care, it's there and it can come to help. When suffering happens, we want to move to relieve it, to find a solution, and as quickly and well as we can. But when we struggle to find the solution, when all of our training and learning and systems and tools fail us, and we find that we have no answer, sometimes we rush in with false answers because the discomfort and the disappointment and the terror of having no answer can be so overwhelming. If this didn't work, then surely this, or surely this, or surely this. There must be an explanation. There must be an answer. But some suffering is just suffering. And all we can do is see this is real. This is reality. And here we are, deep in it. In the book of Job, Job is a man deemed righteous who has earned for himself a very good life until catastrophe strikes. And in his experience of total loss, family and property and his own well-being, but not enough to be dead, living in agony day after day, he cries out, "Why? Why is this happening? What have I done to deserve this? What would remedy this? Someone please tell me what I did that this is what is happening to me. And I will answer you, I can't find the cause. I can't figure out why this is my life. Why is this happening to me?" He spins in a whirlwind of question, analyzing himself, opening his life to judgment, to try to find the cause of what is agonizing for him, for which he can find no relief. His questions spin and spin and spin until they are spent, and he falls into silence. Sighs too deep for whispers, crying out with exhausted tears and depleted lungs, an inaudible question, "Why? Why is this my life?" And friends come to him. They sit with him and cry with him and hold him until they are worn out themselves. And as I have done far too often, and maybe you've done it once too, exhausted of offering compassion, his friends start to offer explanations. And they start to try to tell Job why he has fallen into this misery. It must be because of this cause. It must be because of that cause. You must have done something that you haven't told us about yet. You know the fault really must lie with you if this is your life. Heard those words before? Ever offered them before? A person in pain, and the help being offered only makes the pain worse. No help at all. And Job cries out, "What the hell are you talking about? I thought you were my friends. Why are you here to make it worse? It's bad enough already. Why is it that the very things that would help me are no help to me, compounding my agony with greater agony? Why is this what is happening to me?" so brazen and rebellion a cry of the heart that his friends also are silenced by their exhaustion. Job is relentless in asking for the truth. Why is this my life? And for a second time, he falls into silence. Share that silence with me now. In this silence, the exhausted why his friends and the whole apparatus of help recede. And Job is left there entirely alone in darkness. His life itself an unanswered question with no solution. And in that moment, he touches something beyond himself. We spent an entire month last month talking about it, calling it the transcendent. Some reality deep in this reality and beyond it at the same time. For some of us in this place, when we touch that transcendent, it is darkness upon darkness, a void, silence within silence, and no answer. For some of us, it is the faintest hope of a way through. Some intuition pulling us forward down a path, the next step of which we can barely see. For some of us, it's a quiet voice, barely saying our name, urging us to just keep on. What we find in the unanswerable why is not the same one from the other. And for Job, what he finds is totally overwhelming. Job experiences a whirlwind, a swirl of the chaos of his life, like to sweep him away, overwhelming him with its power. And from that whirlwind, a voice speaks. The voice of the God in which he is striving to remain connected. A God that has cheated him of everything, to which he still seeks to remain faithful, beyond reason. And that God does not come to cheer Job up. That God does not come and make things better. It's an image of God that explodes the concept of God in the book of Job and in the whole Hebrew canon. This is not just a friend. This is a God who pours out questions, unanswerable upon unanswerable, overwhelming Job in sublime experience, showing Job the vastness of creation in all of its unbelievable wonder and beauty and unfathomable unknowability, mystery upon mystery, the depth of which Job will never understand, never know. This is a God who brings no solace or comfort, but a mind-breaking vision of reality that splinters Job to his core beyond his last breaking. The transcendent is an experience of existence that people can hardly bear. And it offers us no clarity or clear answers. But it causes us to touch the heart of reality, a reality that includes suffering with no reason or explanation. It doesn't comfort us. And yet it is there present with us. When you are in darkness and you touch the transcendent, and your experience of it is that there is nothing, that is real. If you emerge from that moment with no answers, but resolved to just do your damnedest in this life, to do your best to live and to make life possible for others, then what you have touched is real. It is real. If when you touch the transcendent, that place beyond all answers, and what you experience is the faintest hope pulling you forward, and you emerge from that place with no answers but strengthened to live by life the very best that you can in the difficulties of this world. Resolve to be of help to others in whatever small ways you can. What you have touched is real. If you are in that darkness and touch the transcendent, and what you hear is a voice calling you into faithfulness, to walk a dark path of love and service the best you can, then what you have touched is real. People argue for ages and make millions of dollars in publishing, fighting about whether or not there is a God, building academic careers and literary careers and broadcast careers, fighting with each other over what none of them can prove. Not one of them can prove. Those are like Job's friends. People who rush in to try to fix with answers and explanations. Surely there must be an answer, and if I can just talk louder than you, you'll be convinced of my own. It doesn't work. Screaming and yelling and bombing do not convince people of your position. It only makes the suffering worse. What matters most is that we have the courage to live without answers, to sit on the floor and weep with each other as long as weeping lasts, to not explain to each other the unknowability of our lives, and not try to cover over the reality of suffering with explanations, but to have the courage to walk in darkness beside each other, and for that accompaniment to be the answer of our lives. When the injustice of this world leads you to the faith that there is no God, I believe you. And I believe that what you are seeing and feeling, what you are touching in that transcendent darkness, is absolute reality. And I long for you to sit beside me and to share what you see with me. When in that darkness you see light breaking through, a bright morning star of promise that there is a God who loves us, I believe you. You are seeing reality. And I want to sit with you and to hear what you know. The God of Job is sublime, beautiful, and terrifying at once. And that is ultimate reality. We see it in every page of Holocaust literature. We hear it in the experiences shared with us by James Baldwin, calling us to the truth of our own country's history. We see it in the lives of people giving their own lives to try to help their fellow Gazans get to the southern half of the tiniest strip of the most densely populated place on earth, giving their lives to help others get out of harm's way. A terrible paradox that is beyond our understanding but holds together. Presence and absence all at once. How can this possibly be God? And how can it not? All at the same time. A question posed to us in our lives that we will never fully answer, except with how we live. What matters most is that we be there with each other. Today, there are doctors caring in shattered halls full of dust and shrapnel for lives likely to be lost because supplies are running out. Staying beside their patients in refusal of an evacuation order. How do we walk through this darkness together?
The Lord, I know that you can do all things and that no purpose of yours can be thwarted. Therefore, I have uttered what I did not understand, things too wonderful for me that I did not know. I had heard of you by the hearing of the ear, but now my eye sees you. Therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes.
It's a heavy time in our world. Heavier than it already always is. I want to thank Paula for making us laugh in the middle of this service. I believe that she deserves a standing ovation for her courage. It's a sign of community that we can live in paradox and feel the tragic and the unknowable and the hilarious unexplainably all together. I said at the start of the service, it matters that we gather. The question of my life is, why the hell am I doing this? And it is a question about, why does this matter? Why does this matter? You will see in your bulletin and Connect, notice about a candidate forum. And I want to make sure everybody knows that forum is not happening tomorrow, so that you don't show up at it. I want to underscore why it's not happening, because it goes to this point about why we matter. All of our social justice work is in partnership. And one of our partners is League of Women Voters, which convenes candidate forums so that we can be informed voters in the practice of our democracy. You can see in the announcement, I won't elaborate here, such a forum was convened. A lot of work put into it. And then, to all of the candidates, the questions that would be asked were shared, so they knew ahead of time how to prepare. And suddenly, a bunch of people couldn't be there anymore. It matters to do the work of truth-telling and gathering. And one way or another, truth will out. For a year and a half, we've been in a visioning process to align our purpose as a congregation. On November 18th, we're going to gather for a full day in Wild Hall underneath us to bring that process to conclusion. And I am going to remind you of this every single Sunday until November, whatever comes before November 18th. The team that has organized and led us in this process is meeting every single week between now and then. They have for many weeks already, so that we are prepared and we can conclude this very well with each other. And every week I'm going to give you the same sheet of paper. I want to ask you, as that team works to prepare, for you to do one last bit of work. To read our draft purpose statement, our mission and vision statements combined, and to let us know if you think it needs any changes or improvement. This is your chance. Please do it. We've looked at this for a year and a half together. Please take this opportunity. And the last is, now that we've done all this planning and thinking with each other, to share with us just once more, what is your wildest dream for this place? Because we live in a reality where there are sometimes no answers. But we gather in that darkness and look at what we can create.